market, supply and demand. First, we need to understand what halal really means. Halal refers to anything that is permissible under Sharia, and it covers a wide range of sectors such as food, cosmetic, pharmaceutical, finance, fashion, and even tourism. Halal products must avoid any haram elements like alcohol or pork and must also meet standards of cleanliness and safety. Next, when we look at the demand, the halal market is driven by a global population of more than 1.9 billion Muslims. Besides that, many non-Muslim consumers are also increasingly interested in halal products because they associate halal with better quality, hygiene, and safety. On the supply side, the halal industry largely depends on producers being able to meet strict halal standards. This includes having access to halal raw materials and going through proper certification processes. In countries like Malaysia, this is supported by a strong government initiative and well-developed halal ecosystem. And the market dynamics show that consumers' purchasing decisions are influenced not only by price but only by ethical and religious considerations. This makes the halal market unique and it explains why it has strong potential for growth globally.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Rosarin. Now I would like to talk about background of the issue. First, overview of the supply and demand issues in the growing halal market. The global halal market is expanding very quickly. Research shows that the value of the halal food industry will continue to rise and is expected to reach about 7.45 trillion US dollars by 2032. This shows how strong the demand for halal products is at the global level. In Malaysia, the halal industry covers many sectors, including food, cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, logistics, and Islamic finance. Even with this wide range, halal food continues to remain the biggest and most important part of the industry. Although the halal market is growing rapidly, it still faces several supply and demand challenges. This includes issues like imbalance, inefficiency, and difficulties in meeting consumer needs consistently. Second, challenges on the demand and supply sides of the halal industry. On the demand side, the halal industry is experiencing rapid growth. It is not only because of Muslim consumers, but also non-Muslim who see halal products as safer and cleaner. This rising interest increases overall market demand. Consumers today expect halal assurance at every stage, from farming, raw materials, processing, logistics, all the way to the final product. When producers fail to meet this expectation, it creates even more pressure on the market. On the supply side, one of the main issues is limited availability of halal raw materials. Because of this, the industry relies heavily on imported or foreign certified inputs, which can restrict production capacity. Another challenge is weak control in halal logistics and supply chain management. Any inefficiency or contamination risk along the chain can disrupt halal assurance, making it harder for producers to meet rising demand. Next, impact of supply and demand imbalance in the halal industry. First, the imbalance between limited halal supply and growing demand can cause higher prices. This makes it harder for low-income households to access halal products, highlighting issue of economic inequality in the market. Second, Malaysia depends heavily on imported halal raw materials. This reliance exposes the domestic market to global supply disruption and price volatility, which can affect the stability of our halal industry. Finally, if halal integrity is not fully ensured, it can undermine consumer trust and confidence in meeting religious obligations. At the same time, it can slow down Malaysia's goal to become a global halal hub and reduce competitiveness in the international market. Next, Islamic and ethical imperative in the halal market. First, from an Islamic perspective, halal product must be clean, safe, and ethically produced. Consumers have the right to access products that meet this standard not just in the legal sense but also morally and ethically. Second, ensuring halal integrity is a collective responsibility, known as Fardu Kifayah. A trustworthy certification system and open supply chain show society's commitment to moral responsibility and social accountability in line with Sharia principles. Finally, any failure in the halal system, such as fake products or unequal supply, breaches economic justice and trust, taking advantage of consumer and going against Islamic ethical principles. Maintaining a reliable halal market is therefore both an economic and religious imperative.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nufara Damia. Now I want to talk about microeconomic concept overview. What is microeconomics? Microeconomics is a study of how individuals and company makes decisions and how resources are used and allocated. It helps us understand why goods and services have different prices, how businesses produce efficiently, and how consumers choose what to buy. Microeconomics also explain the behavior of economics agents such as consumers, firms, and also production factors. Since people needs and decisions affect each other within a community, these interactions raise important questions about price, value, and fairness. In Islamic economics, these questions become even more meaningful because economic behavior must link with religious principles. Therefore, studying microeconomics in an Islamic context help us understanding how market can operate ethically and responsibly. For demand in halal market, demand refers to the amounts of goods or service that consumers are willing and able to buy at different prices. This is influenced by needs, wants, and the ability to pay. According to the law of demands, when the prices of the product increase, the quantity demanded decrease. When the price fall, the quantity demanded increase. In the halal market, demand continues to grow for several reasons. First, Muslim consumers prefer halal products to fulfill religious obligations. Second, greater awareness and halal certification increase trust in halal goods. Third, rising incomes encourage people to choose higher quality halal brand. Fourth, lifestyle changes even among non-Muslim lead to higher demand because halal products are viewed as cleaner, safer, and more hygienic. These strong demands makes the halal market a rapidly expanding global sector. For supply in halal market, supply is the amount of the product that producers are willing to offer at different prices. According to the law of supply, when the prices rise, producers are willing to supply more, and when the prices fall, supplies decrease. In the halal industry, however, supplies is often limited due to the several challenges. First, high certification costs such as those imposed by JAKIM. Second, strict hygiene and production standard that must be followed. Third, limited availability of halal raw materials. Fourth, shortage of certified halal producers. And lastly, extra monitoring and auditing requirements. This factor makes it's harder for producers to enter the halal market, which restricts supply even as demand continues to grow. For Islamic perspective on market behavior refers to how buyers and sellers interact and make decisions, especially in competitive and uncertain situations. The action and reaction of buyer and seller which are influenced by preferred strategy and available information. From the Islamic perspective, market behavior must follow key ethical values such as honesty and transparency in business transactions, avoiding deception, cheating, and hiding product defect, prohibiting hoarding to artificially raise prices, ensuring fairness in pricing, and providing products that are halal and tayyib. Tayyib means clean, safe, and wholesome. Islam places a strong emphasis on social well-being. Therefore, businesses should not only focus on profit, but also consider the impact of their action on the community. When these principles are followed, market become fairer, more transparent, and beneficial for both seller and buyers.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Alia Izzati binti Muhammad Syukri. Number metric 313299. And today I'm gonna share about the key principle in halal market and why they matter for consumer and producer. Number one is honesty in production and sales. First, honesty is a must. Producer shouldn't lie, cheat, or hide important information. If someone mix halal and non-halal ingredient or use false labels, that leads to gharar. That means uncertainty or deception. And this action is against from Sharia and harm the consumer trust. Second, we have prohibition of ihtikar. Ihtikar means hoarding goods just to raise the price. This act is forbidden because it creates unfairness, distorts supply and demand, and also take the advantage of people. Because Islam actually promoting fairness, not exploitation. And the third one is Hisbah. Hisbah is the system that monitoring and checking the market to make sure everyone follows Sharia rules. This comes from Quran and As-Sunnah that encouraging a good and preventing the wrongdoing. This responsibility usually lies to those who can enforce the ethical standard, such as JAKIM. JAKIM is Malaysian Halal Authorities. Okay. Four is transparency in halal business. Transparency is also super important. Producer must give full info about their products by showing the ingredients, explaining the process, and obtaining proper halal certification. A halal market should also have fair competition, avoid exploitation, and maintain high product quality. The fifth, principle of tayyib. Halal isn't just about permissible, it's also about tayyib. That means clean, safe, and good to consume. Producers shouldn't reduce quality just to cut the costs. Islam value products that are healthy, pure, and beneficial. The last one is social responsibility of producer. Producer must have a social responsibility. They should offer halal product at affordable price, support small halal business, create halal job opportunities, and always avoid unethical actions. This keeps the halal industry strong and beneficial for the whole community.
Now, I will present a solution to the challenges in Malaysia halal market. The solution focuses on improving production, strengthening the supply chain, and ensuring halal integrity for consumers. The first solution is to expand halal certificate production capacity, especially for SMEs. With proper training and enough resources, SMEs can improve their process and follow Sharia standard better. A faster and simpler JAKIM certification process will also help producers bring product to the market quickly. At the same time, increasing consumer awareness and improving collaboration within the supply chain will help meet the growing demand without affecting halal integrity. The second solution is to increase local sourcing of halal raw materials. This reduces our dependence on imports and avoid price and supply issues from other countries. Research and development can create new halal ingredients, while technology like automation help increase efficiency. Training and workshop can also strengthen local producers so they can meet halal standards confidently. The third solution is to strengthen halal integrity across the supply chain. This includes separating halal and non-halal items, following standardized procedure, and conducting regular audits. Digital tracking can monitor product movement and detect issues quickly. Proper training and strong collaboration within the supply chain will help maintain transparency and consumer trust. The fourth solution is to support the economic and social aspect of the halal market. Financial assistance for SMEs can help keep price fair and stable. Improving distribution network ensures halal products are available nationwide, including rural areas. Encouraging local production reduces dependence on imports and protect the market from global disruption. The final solution is to maintain moral and religious integrity in the halal industry. Halal violence and unethical practice reduce consumer trust, so it's important to ensure all products are genuinely halal, safe and ethically produced. Transparent certification, proper handling practice, and awareness of Islamic ethical principles can strengthen confidence in Malaysia halal product.
Overall, we can see that the halal market is growing very rapidly at the global level. This growth is driven by the higher consumer awareness and the strong demand for halal certified products across many sectors. But at the same time, our analysis shows that the industry still faces several important challenges. Among the major issues are the shortage of halal raw materials, the high cost of certification, weakness in supply chain management, and concerns about halal integrity. From a macroeconomic perspective, these challenges create an imbalance between supply and demand. As a result, prices become higher and halal products become harder to access, especially for low-income consumers. This doesn't just affect the economy but also matters from an ethical and religious perspective because Islam emphasizes that products must be halal, safe or tahir, and produced in transparent and honest manner. Therefore, strengthening halal certification process, improving the overall supply chain, investing more in local halal production, and using technologies like digital tracking are important steps to build trust and reliability in the halal industry. In the end, the development of the halal market requires cooperation from all parties, producers, regulators, government agencies, and consumers. If integrity, transparency, and efficiency can be improved at every stage of the supply chain, Malaysia can continue to strengthen its position as the global halal hub and ensure that halal products remain safe, authentic, and Sharia compliant for both Muslim and non-Muslim consumers. That's all. Thank you.